So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with me this afternoon, this Friday afternoon. My name is Melissa Ponte, and I serve as the Director of Student Development here at Iona College. And today I am with a group of student leaders from around the college who are going to share with us their thoughts on celebrating Black History Month, what it means to them, and then of course celebrating all of our diverse heritages and cultures here at the college. So first, I'm going to go around and ask everyone to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about them, and then we'll get started. So I'm going to turn it over and get started with Liam. Please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Liam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a senior. I am on the ledge for the SGA, and I'm also on the e-board for the Iona College Pipe Band.
All right, next we have Patty.
Hi everyone, I'm Patricia, but everyone knows me as Patty. Sorry for the loud background. I am a junior here at Iona College, and I sit on the e-board for CGG, and I'm also part of a sorority in Greek Life, and I'm part of the LLC.
Awesome, thank you. Next, Courtney.
Hi everyone, thank you for this opportunity to be speaking to you all. My name is Courtney. I'm a junior. I am the current Executive Vice President for our Student Government Association. I am also a resident assistant in one of our freshman dorms on campus.
Thank you. Next is Jahari.
Hello, everybody. Hi, my name is Jahari Bethea. I am currently a junior. I am also the Executive Vice President of SAM, and I'm also a resident assistant at one of our.
Thank you. And finally, Jason.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a senior. I'm a resident assistant. I serve as the Vice President for Administration for the Student Government Association, and I'm also a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. So as we can hear, we have students who are involved in many different activities across the college. So it's really great to have your perspectives on this really important topic. So the first question, as we close out Black History Month 2021, my first question for each of you, if you could answer this question, is what does Black History Month mean to you? And I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to start with Jason.
Black History Month to me is a time in which we're able to share the Black experience across the board. So culturally, things like literature, things like art, things like inventions that Black people have are all kind of like personified in Black History Month. We kind of see them brought to the forefront. People like Harriet Tubman and things, for example, are brought up during Black History Month, and they're not brought up in other months. And Black History Month can also be a time in which campuses come together and do amazing programming by stretching across diverse backgrounds. And I think we've done a great job of doing that this year.
Thank you. Jahari, what does Black History Month mean to you?
Black History Month to me is just a way that you can just authentically share the experience of what it means to exist in both a black or brown body. I feel that oftentimes our stories are not heard or they are not given line. Right? What is, though, the shortest month of the year, it just has such a big impact just in such various areas of our lives that, you know, these stories are important and they end in hope. That should always be.
Thank you. Courtney.
Sorry. So kind of what my peers have stated before, Black History Month is an important time to just reflect on where we have come as a country, but not really focusing on kind of the negatives and the pain and the suffering that we've gone through, but also focusing on Black love, Black joy, the Black experience, when looking at the art that we've made, how we as a community have come together to not only build ourselves up, but also build this country up.
All right, Patty.
You guys are awesome. I agree with everyone. And to add on, especially what Jason was saying, I feel like throughout history, like the contributions that like Black Americans have made on the society have, you know, been overlooked and downplayed and definitely misrepresented. Sorry. And I feel like this month is just really important to me because not only do I continue to educate myself, but I can also help educate my peers. Not to say I'm a whiz at it, but you know, it's a learning experience for all. And I feel like this year, it's always been important, but I feel like this year a lot of people have opened up their eyes to this racial injustice that I feel like that Americans knew about, but didn't want to speak about it. It was like a topic that was like kind of touchy. Now it's not a touchy topic anymore. Like everyone's not afraid to speak up.
Excellent. All right, Liam.
Yeah, and I agree with Patty. You guys are fantastic people. I agree with everything that you said, and it's really, to me, it means showcasing the accomplishments made in history, but also looking at how we can improve as a country, as a whole. Looking down deep into what it really does mean. Being able to do what we're doing and to talk about it, and being able to educate ourselves more on what we didn't know, what we should know, and what it's good to know about what it is. There's things that, we might have learned within schooling that we didn't learn the entire story. It was just pieces here and there. But now, especially because we can talk about it, and the normal of it now is to talk about it. So, the accomplishments made, but also what we can improve.
You all made some really excellent points. And, one of the things that was mentioned was that, this is a month, and I think Jason, you alluded to this, is, in this month we get to talk about the accomplishments, the contributions, right, of our Black citizens, and all the great work. And like Courtney said, to share the love and the pride, right? So how do we continue celebrating that? Do we, does happen in February, and I think Jahari, you were saying the shortest month of the year. But how does Black History Month continue all year? What are ways that we can celebrate throughout the year? So any of you can jump in if you want to answer that.
Can I answer this one? I think we've done a great job this Black History Month of having speakers and having panelists and having discussions across the board with staff, students, and faculty. And I think that a lot of great points are being brought up about ways in which Iona can move forward. I think our Chief Diversity Officer as well has been in a lot of these talks this month and seen a lot of student groups and student organizations put on diverse programming throughout the month. So with all of these different things to pull from February, I think by taking these ideas throughout the semester and maybe doing the same kind of programming, but maybe it's not Black History Month. Maybe we're doing it in April, for example, having diverse speakers and things of that nature, stretching across the academic year. I think that's where we move forward.
To just echo what Jason said, I think it's important that we as students set the precedent that Black History Month should not just be celebrated in February. I think we as student leaders, like Jason said, do a really good job of amplifying Black voices on campus, amplifying other very important cultures and voices on campus as well. So I think if faculty and staff see students doing this, we can set the precedent that, oh, in classes, let's talk about stuff like that. Whether you're in a math class or you're in a computer science class, like research some Black artists or Black computer scientists who have made an impact in that field and discuss it. And not just, leaving it in February, the shortest month of the year, to have these events and these programs and discussions and then kind of just like ignoring it.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. Don't keep it within 1 month. There's no reason why we can't continue this throughout the whole year. This is a thing that's a part of us all. It's things that we need to know about, we need to talk about. And for the people who don't feel comfortable per se talking about it, make it so that they do. Continue. And I know COVID has put a big damper on in-person things, and all these showcasings and things have had to be online, but really, after things get back to kind of normal with in-person stuff, make it, again, in-person, interactive thing, and again, keep it going. Don't just put it in with 1 month, because, there's a lot to talk about, and there's not a lot that you can discuss within that 1 month. I think it would be a cool thing to really keep it going.
Thank you. So one thing I did hear is, incorporating it into all aspects of the experience, right? Courtney talked about not just, events, but academics, right? So, all the contributions that Black people have made to all fields, right? We know that they've made contributions to the sciences, to the arts, the humanities. So maybe weaving it into, you know, the academics, which I really appreciate. And like Liam and Jason, what you were saying, it doesn't have to be, you know, confined to the 1 month. It's something that we can celebrate all year long, and having those conversations with each other. So my next question is, so I do have two more questions because I just thought of one. But one question is, how do you celebrate Black History Month? What is something maybe you've done? Have you planned something? Have you attended something? So how maybe have you celebrated?
Personally, I've started to read a lot more. I mean, I'm not a big reader, but I felt like this month was especially important, like I said, to constantly keep educating yourself. I've been watching documentaries, like one good one, just about the criminal justice system was the 13th. I mean, I've watched it before from one of my courses, and I just kept referring back to it with my organization, because like you guys said, we're trying to keep it a whole year-round thing. It's not fair that it's in February, the shortest month of the year. Like all you guys said, it's like too much to talk about to squish it into 1 month. It should be something that's celebrated all year round. So I remember last semester we had like an event, because you know we can't do everything on in person, and we all watched the 13 documentary, and it really opened a lot of people's eyes. And that's what I've been doing. And I've also tried to support Black-owned businesses a lot, because you know I'm shopping online and make sure like my money is actually going to people like who honestly really deserve it.
Amazing. Great. I love it. Thank you. Jahari
Um,
did look like you were going to say something. Okay.
Sorry. I know myself that I have been holding programs and stuff just on the Black experience and just reminding people of, for example, like radicalism and self-care, how you can find the origins of self-care in the Black Panther Party, and then from Audre Lorde, a very queer feminist Black author and writer, and herself and how she just made it apparent and made it a norm that these Black, brown bodies, and just people in general, we should be taking care of ourselves more, because if we don't take care of ourselves and we don't keep ourselves healthy, how do you keep movements like this? How do you keep if you don't keep yourself healthy, you can expect a healthier society, because you're not doing the work on your person and your being in your body. So I know for myself, I've held programs in that nature. And then just, I feel like I celebrate Black History Month just every day. I always make it a thing to call my grandmother. My grandmother's my history. Wouldn't have a history if it wasn't for my grandmother and my aunts and my moms and uncles. And it's all these family members that make me. So I feel like Black History Month and just any type of celebration, History Month should just be that aspect of just your everyday existence. You're going out into the world and you're making a change and you're making the world brighter. You are making history in your own little way. So I think that that's just important line as we.
Thank you. So my final question to close us out, and we could talk about this, right, for ages, is, so we celebrate Black History Month in February, but then we have all these other heritage months throughout the rest of the year. So my question is, how do we make sure to celebrate all of our diversity? What do we need to do as a community to honor and celebrate all the richness of the cultures here at Iona College? So any ideas on how we do that?
Sorry, Courtney. I mean, there's a lot that we can do with all. I mean, with Black history in general, it doesn't just have to do with our country. You know, there's Black history that's involved with St. Patrick's Day or with the Italian heritage. I mean, there's a lot that we can do, and with other cultures that we do events for. We can kind of intertwine them all, not to put a main focus per se on like a smaller. I'm trying to put this in a right way, but there's a way that we can intertwine all of them throughout the year, and it still brings up the history, of us. Even though we all come from different backgrounds, different cultures, there's still the kind of same aspects in all. Yeah, if that kind of makes sense. There's still different ways that we can do all, and do it throughout the year and not subject them to just 1 month or 1 day or 1 week. There's different things that we can all do because we are, especially this country, and even looking at this school, we are a very diverse school within the different cultures and heritage aspects that we all come from.
Yeah, and I am going to jump in, and I think part of what you say is true, that while each culture heritage has unique qualities and experiences that maybe happened or that they've gone through, but there's also this intertwining and there's overlapping, right? I mean, one very explicit example I think of is the Afro-Latino or Latinx experience of, you have this mix of cultures that definitely overlaps due to, slaves being in the Caribbean and the mixing of Europeans and natives and, right? So just that itself is just an overwhelming, just beautiful mix of cultures that sometimes you can't totally tease apart without recognizing the relation to the other. So I think part of what I'm hearing is there is so much mix of history and conflict and cultures that sometimes it's hard to just focus on one piece of it. And maybe we should be celebrating more of that
Yeah, and
while at
that's
times separating
yeah.
it, right?
That's
So
exactly it. You can have your own days for certain cultures, but there are also days where you can mix and tell stories about your grandparents' history and what they went through, or your great grandparents. Because I'm not sure about all of you, and I hope so, but like my family, the stories I hear from my grandparents before they came to this country and their parents and everything, it's the history that we should all know, and it's great to hear.
thank you.
I feel like I know I'm beating a dead horse about the education part, but I feel like it really all just starts with education. Like, honestly, people don't know that all of our cultures have intertwined at some point. Some people are like completely oblivious on it. So I feel like it starts with our education, our courses that we hold here at Iona. I know for our core curriculum in general, for like, I know all freshman students or all even transfer students have to take a diversity course. And I know some of Iona students were working on having better diversity courses, but I feel like just a push on that, like maybe we have a class that like not only talks about every single culture, and like you said, like how they've intertwined in the past. I feel like there was a divide back in the day, and there is sometimes now in some cultures where we're kind of like pinned up against each other, and it's sad because we should all come together in times like these, especially like during COVID when like the world is in shambles. So yeah, I just feel like we should hold like have more. We should hold the precedent, if I'm saying it correctly, if I'm using that word correctly, in our own curriculum, so we can teach that to others. That's all.
Thank you. And Courtney, I know you were going to say something.
I agree with what everyone said. I also think it's very important that we as a campus know when these months are, but not limit ourselves to just those months. Kind of like what Liam was saying. Like, of course, we have like Latinx Heritage Month, I think September. I could be wrong. I know like Indigenous History Month, like I think it's really important that we as a campus are focusing on those voices that we kind of really do leave behind in a sense. Like I know Women's History Month, we know Black History Month, but like what about those voices afterwards? And I think it was really great and important that freshmen in their Columba classes were reading a book on race and on racism and like everything all around that, because I had conversations with my freshmen who just like never encountered any like Black kids or other races in their school when they were in high school, and this was like their first time being in a setting where they're seeing different people, different cultures, and it's important that they understand that it's okay to ask a question rather than just completely be ignorant on what you know. Although that could be very challenging, some kids do really just do want to know, and it is hard when you feel like you're not too into whatever is going on as well.
Um, all right, so I just want to leave it open. Any last remarks as we close this out? I think you all provided some really great examples that, again, overlap with this, you know, the programming piece, the education, curriculum. So, you know, it really sounds like, you know, celebrating comes in many different forms, right? It's not just about a month of, you know, activity. It's weaved throughout the experience as you go through college. It's, you know, getting to know people, learning their stories, sharing history, reading texts, going to events, right? So it's the holistic experience, and I'm really happy to hear that you all recognize that, and that it is important, that it is kind of part of the experience, right? It's not just left to, you know, 28, 29 days. But I will say, if anyone does not know why February was chosen for Black History Month, it is because Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass's birthdays are in February. So because of their contributions to Black, well, at the time it started with, you know, freeing the slaves, but our Black citizens and members of society, those two made many contributions. So that is why it was chosen as the month. But I really appreciate all of your time today and sharing your thoughts and feedback. And I thank all of you for the contributions you have made to Iona College, for all the students here, and celebrating all of our diverse heritages. So thank you all, and have a wonderful Friday.